Yeah. What up? What up? Y'all watching the Grind Ethics Mixtape Show, and I'm your host, Victory, BX Supreme Promoter, basically. Nah, I mean, nah, I'm Shane, basically. Yo, what up, y'all? Thank y'all for watching the new episode, or this new episode of the Grind Ethics Mixtape Show. Basically, anybody that like this episode, I'll be very grateful if anyone could like, share, and comment on this episode if you like it, and also subscribe too. Definitely subscribe because I definitely need to build up this fan base or the algorithm. You know, help me out so these stupid ass robots could recommend me and share my stuff. Yo, and definitely if you like this episode of the Grind Ethics Mixtape Show, I'll be very grateful if anyone could make a friendly donation. The link is Grind Ethics Cash App. That's Grind Ethics Cash App. Also, I'm on Grind Ethics Venmo, and also I'm on Grind Ethics Media at PayPal. Grind Ethics Media at PayPal. Also, follow me on Grind Ethics Instagram and also Grind Ethics Media at Instagram. All right. Anyway, yo, a lot of people lately been giving their pros and cons or reasons to move to New York or reasons not to move to New York or whatever. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna join in the fun and I'm gonna do my own pros and cons of living in the motherfucking Rotten Apple or motherfucking New York City, which I'm trying to move myself. But hey, right now I'm being unbiased here. I'm gonna start off with the pros, okay, of living in New York. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm gonna go get to the dark side. The dark side. Afterwards. Okay, one pro of living in New York City. The excitement. The excitement. When you first come here, especially if you go to Times Square, Manhattan, you're going to see a lot of excitement, a lot of lights, people all over the place, entertainment. You know what I'm saying? You got venues, you got bars, clubs. There's always something to do in New York City from Monday through Sunday, whatever, 7 days a week. It's crazy, you know? But it kind of died down because of the pandemic. A lot of people haven't been coming to New York as much as they used to, whatever, but it's still exciting to a degree. Oh, another pro of moving to New York. If you move to New York, you're moving to the motherfucking Mecca of hip hop, nigga. Of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? That's if you care. But yeah. You move into the motherfucking because you're gonna see a lot of hip hop culture in all the five boroughs. It don't matter where you at in New York City. You're gonna see graffiti all over the place. You're gonna be like, oh shit, this shit's artsy right here. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah, man. And then in New York City, especially Manhattan, half the time you're gonna bump into somebody famous. You're gonna bump into somebody, you're gonna be like, oh shit. Because New York City is like a place where celebrities kind of mingle with people who are not celebrities, and you got different mixture of classes of people and whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's what's fun about New York. It's a diversity. Another pro of living in New York City: 24-hour transportation. You don't need a car to get around the five boroughs. You could take the bus, or you could take the 24-hour train. The 24-hour train is more longer than the bus. Waiting for a New York City bus at 11 o'clock, let's say 10 o'clock, it's kind of a bitch. But waiting for the train is more dependable. You know what I'm saying? It could be 10, 12, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. a train is coming through. It might come. It might take a while, but it's coming through. You know what I'm saying? It's 24 hours, whatever. So you saving a lot of money from having a vehicle, an actual private transportation. And the metro card is not that much money. You know what I'm saying? It's not that much to get around transportation wise. Another pro of living in New York City. The hustle is real, my nigga. The hustle is real. You can make crazy bank selling anything in New York City. And you don't have to have a store. Just hit the streets, hit the corner of whatever you at. Brooklyn, Manhattan, Staten Island, the Bronx, Queens, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Go to a place where because you got busy areas not only in Manhattan but all over the other boroughs too. Go to Fordham Road in the Bronx, Third Avenue in the Bronx, Parkchester in the Bronx. Or you go to Queens, go to Jamaica, Queens, or whatever, and you sell some socks. You can sell mugs and get money. You can sell waters and soda and get money. You can sell scissors and get money. You know what I'm saying? You could walk around, or you could babysit a table, or post up with your merchandise and get money. Get money. Or you could sell to your neighbors. You don't have to hit the streets. You can sell to your neighbors. You can sell to people in your building. Especially if you live in the projects, you could sell to your whole projects and might not have to make no money outside the projects. For real, the hustle is real. Some of y'all know listen, I sell everything but drugs in the street, unless you want to consider soda drugs. Okay, I sell drugs sometimes because this is a drug. Okay, so I done sold drugs out here. Okay, not illegal drugs, legal drugs, drugs that they don't call drugs. But I done sold almost everything in New York. I done sold white tees. I done sold purses, pocketbooks, hats, snapback hats, waters, sodas, juices, iced teas, chronic. I even sold chronic, Lucy's. Oh man, what else I sold? Toys. I sold toys, books. I done sold almost everything out this month. Have I ever sold a pair of sneakers? Nah, I never sold a pair of sneakers before. But yeah, I sold a lot. Oh, I sold vinyls, records, magazines. I done sold a lot of stuff here in New York City, man. A lot of stuff in these streets, man. The hustle is real. Another pro of living in New York City, the different foods you got exposed to. You can eat fucked up foods or healthy foods. If you're a vegan, New York City is a good place to live if you're a vegan or if you're a basic vegetarian. Because people be thinking this vegetarian and a vegan is the same shit. No, there's a difference between being a vegan and a vegetarian. And why nobody talking about vegetarians no more? Whatever happened to the vegetarians? Anyway, that's about it of my pros. Now we get into the cons. We get into the dark side. The cons of living in New York City. How was that? I was trying to sound like Darth Vader. Was that good or was that whack or whatever? Anyway, if you didn't like it, you're a hater. You're a hater if you didn't like that little thing I was doing. You know what I'm saying? You know, and plus it's dark, and I'm a dark skinned guy too. You know what I'm saying? And my hat makes my eyes dark. That was kind of nice. Anyway, one of the cons of living in New York City. Almost everything's expensive in New York City. Almost everything is expensive. Rent, clothes, food, you name it. Soda. Downtown Manhattan, you get this probably $2. $1.75 to $2. Okay, in the Bronx, $1.25, which is not bad. Almost everything's expensive in New York City. It's crazy. Um, almost everything. Just expect to spend a lot of money. If you live in Ohio, for example, which the cost of living is cheaper, and you move to New York, you're gonna be like, you're gonna see a difference in your money. You be like, hold up. Nowadays, I ain't got no leftover money. You're gonna be like, you're gonna be like this. You got a piece of paper coming out. A piece of paper coming out. No money. It's a piece of paper, but no money though. No money paper. You be like, okay, a piece of thread came out of my wallet. But yeah, you can notice that you ain't got no money left. Because why? First of all, you living off of one income. If you most likely, if you move to New York City, most likely you're gonna be living off of one income. Do not rely on one income if you're gonna live in New York City. Do not do it to yourself. And I'm not saying you have to get a second job because you might be hurting yourself even more because you're paying 2 taxes and your body's gonna hurt even more. Anyway, come up with a hustle. Maybe you get a 9 to 5 job and you hit the corners. You don't need no vendor's license to sell in New York no more. Well, I mean, it's still a law, but it's a law that's not really enforced by that. Matter of fact, don't even worry. Just push some waters or some shit, or some clothes or some shit. Or you can hit up the barbershops, the beauty salons, and and sell something, nigga. Don't rely on one income if you're gonna live in New York City. I'm telling you, you're gonna hurt yourself. Oh, another con of living in New York motherfucking city. It's too many assholes in New York City. It's too many assholes. For one reason, because we live on top of each other. We piled on top of each other like chickens. You know what I'm saying? It's especially if you're in a train or you're in a bus or you know what I mean? It's a journey. When you go to Midtown, when you walk on the streets in Midtown Manhattan, it's like it's like a journey to get out one block. You know, it's too many people, which generates a lot of jerks, a lot of assholes. This is one of the reasons why I'm moving out. So if you're a nice person, you could be if you're from Idaho, Montana, South Dakota, North Dakota, and you're a very nice person, yo, listen, be prepared to be disrespected. And sometimes people are not going to open the door for you. Because most people in New York City think about themselves. It's every man for himself. So be prepared to be disrespected, especially if you're a street vendor. Especially if you come into New York to be a street vendor, be prepared to be disrespected. Okay, you might throw a few blows or whatever, or you know, just be prepared. Another con of living in New York City. Oh, I hate this. There's a big rat problem in New York City. Okay, yes, there's a lot of snitches in New York City, but I'm not talking about those type of rats. I'm talking about real rats, sewer rats, rats that got rabies, rats that'll fight dogs and cats. Okay, nah, ain't no joke, peoples. If you're from out of town, you know what I'm saying. If you're from the country area, you might be like, oh, we got rats in the country. We got a little few rats, a little few rats. They don't bother us. No, I'm not talking about field rats, nigga. I'm not talking about country rats. I'm talking about sewer rats, city rats. There's a difference between there's a difference between sewer rats and field rats. Field rats probably don't carry no rabies. Okay? Sewer rats are stink. They stink, and they're very messy. They're very dirty, very filthy. They like filth, and they eat up your leftovers. They're looking for your leftovers. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, and you're gonna be scared. Like these are not no field country rats. Okay, you can be scared of New York City rats. Okay, You could be puffing trees on a block, or you could be on a block talking to your friend. It could be the nighttime, broad daylight. Now they're coming out broad daylight. These rats got no fear like that. They're coming out broad daylight in the middle of a few people on the block. You be like, oh shit. You be ready to run. That's one of the reasons why I'm moving out of New York. I don't like rats. I don't, nah. And if you don't want to catch no rabies, you might not want to live in New York. I know other cities and states got sewer rats, especially Chicago. You know, and that's another and that's one thing I wouldn't want to live in Chicago, because living in Chicago is like I might as well stay in New York. Chicago to me is like a Midwest version of New York City. And no, and New York City is like an East Coast version of Chicago. No, I wouldn't. I really don't like Chicago, and I never even been Chicago. Anyway, this is not about Chicago. This is about motherfucking New York City. Anyway, what the hell happened here? Oh yeah, you move to New York City, and you see everybody that's in a rush. That's in a rush, on a rush. For no motherfucking reason. You know? On a Sunday, motherfuckers is in a rush. And it's a Sunday, and they're not going to work. In New York City, most people are rushing just to rush. You have an average nigga in New York City rushing to go to the store in the morning time. And the store is not closing anytime soon. But they in a rush to go into the store and come back inside. Like, what are you in a rush for? And this is one thing I hear about the city. You're going to notice this when you move to New York City, or if you move to New York City, or you come here to visit. When you walk in on the escalators in New York City, you have people, and this get on my nerves, you have people walking on the escalators while you on the escalators, and you trying to rest for a little while. You trying to enjoy the ride, and motherfuckers is walking on the escalators. What's the whole point of walking on the escalators? You defeating the purpose of standing on the escalators. You ain't supposed to walk on the escalators. You're supposed to just stand there and enjoy the ride. Otherwise, you just walk on the regular steps. It makes no fucking sense how these motherfucking New Yorkers be motherfucking walking on escalators. Why are you gonna walk on an escalator? You're supposed to stand there, enjoy the ride. And a nigga like me, that's why I don't walk on escalators that much. Because motherfuckers be rushing, walking up. Why are you rushing? What the fuck? Today is Sunday, nigga. Why are you walking on the escalators? Where you going? You're not going to work, nigga. Or most likely, most people ain't going to work on a Sunday. Why are you walking on the escalators? You don't have to. See, that's that built-in. See, because niggas are so used to being in a rush, hustle and bustle, to the point where they're not even really in a rush to go nowhere. It's just it's just a subconscious mind that's used to rushing. Now motherfuckers is rushing for no reason. That's why I don't walk on the escalators like that. Another con of living in New York City. Oh, damn, I'm already, okay, whatever. Big traffic jams. If you got a car, you might want to leave that home, or your old home, or sell that shit, because you don't need that. It's hard to find, first of all, it's hard to find parking. That's another con. I didn't put that on my list, but it's hard to find on parking, and the traffic jams. It's crazy. You're going to be cursing people out. People are going to be cutting you off. People will be cursing you out. You're going to get you might get into an accident, not 50% of the time. Well, there's a 50% chance you might get in an accident if you drive in New York City. Okay? Traffic is terrible here. Rush hour, forget about it. The morning, the evening, forget about it. I mean, it's more smoother right now. You know, like you could drive through the Bronx right now and you won't experience that much traffic like that. But Manhattan, probably maybe Brooklyn, downtown Brooklyn, is gonna be a bitch, man. I'm telling you. Prepare yourself. The weather sucks if you don't like wintertime. If you don't like wintertime, if you're from a place like Texas where everybody or everything closed down because of a little snow, no, you're still going to work. You're still going to go to work, even if there's small snowflakes coming down the sky. You still got to go to work. Nobody ain't gonna close down no school or close down no job because there's a little snow. You still got to go to work. This ain't Texas. You still got to go to work. If this ain't Virginia or North Carolina or South Carolina, come on, you still got to go to work when it snows a little bit. When it snows a lot, okay, maybe you might not have to go to work. But yeah, if you don't like the winter time, you might not want to live in New York because the winters here, it gets real cold. It could get very, very cold, especially if you live in upstate New York. Upstate New York is more colder than the city. Forget about it. But there's times when it could be November, it could be December, and all of a sudden we experience like abnormal, mild, kind of warm weather. I guess because of global warming and shit. But then afterwards, the day after, it gets real brick again. It could get to 0 degrees in New York City. Not all the time, not like a serious periods of time, but it could get real fucking brick cold, ass cold. You know, you get the picture. Another con of living in New York City. Too many crazy people. Too many crazy people in New York. Way too many crazy people in New York. Almost everybody. Listen, like I told you in the previous episode, when I was a kid growing up in New York City, only homeless people were crazy or mentally sick. Now it's like working class people are going crazy because of the pressures, or one of the reasons is the pressures of living in New York City. Living in the pressures of New York City might make you go crazy. It might make you go crazy. It might make you go crazy. You might start screaming to yourself. You know, you might start, throwing yourself in the train tracks or riding a bicycle in the train tracks. Or wearing a North Face coat in 90-degree weather. You know what I'm saying? I be seeing sometimes motherfuckers wearing winter clothes in 90-degree, 100-degree weather. Well, not 100 degrees, 90-degree weather. I'm looking at niggas like, what the fuck is you doing? You know what I'm saying? I saw this one dude I know, he's mentally ill, obviously, and he was wearing a heavy jacket in like 80, 90-degree weather. And he was looking at me like, yo, it's complicated. I'm like, what's complicated? The fact that you wearing a motherfucking jacket in 95-degree weather? What the fuck you talking about? It's complicated. You know? But yeah. And also some of these crazy people, so-called crazy people, are violent. In New York City, there's cases of mentally sick people basically hurting people, going to jail, going to a local jail, and getting released the next day. Yes, it's like that. New York State government, they basically protect mentally ill people, especially mentally ill people who are violent. They protect them, which is criminal of the New York government, and the reason why is probably because they're getting paid from them. They're getting paid because the New York City government don't really give a fuck about nobody, especially no motherfucking mentally ill motherfuckers. So they have to be getting paid off these people, especially the violent ones. They protect the violent people, the violent, mentally sick people. So be careful when you come to New York, man. You might not want to live here, man. Like I say, I'm moving. I'm getting listen. I'm kicking my melanated ass out of here. I'm out of here. For real. I'm starting the process too. Man. I'm still in the process, you know? Anyway, I'm out, peoples. Anyone that liked this episode of the Grind Ethics Mixtape Show, like, share, comment, and all that good stuff. Subscribe. And if you want, hey, leave me a friendly donation. Grind Ethics Venmo, that's the link. Grind Ethics Cash App. And I'm on Grind Ethics Media at PayPal. And I'm out. And remember, peoples, tell a friend to tell a friend. That's all about the motherfucking grind. Basically.